Welcome back to Midday Bible Study. This is From Eden to Eternity. This is session 13. We will be covering Job 35 through 37. Even though Elihu started off humble last week, he becomes more self-assured the longer he talks, growing harsher in his rebuke of Job, bordering on cruelty. Like the others, he claims to be speaking on God's behalf and even refers to himself as perfect in knowledge. Just like with Job's other friends, the hard part about sorting through Elihu's words is that a lot of what he says about God is true. For example, he says neither our sin nor our righteousness affects God's position or perfection. That's true. He tells Job that his righteousness can't be used for bartering with God. That's true too. But where Elihu goes wrong is in assuming that Job is trying to use his righteousness as a bartering tool. He says godless people cherish anger, which is interesting because the first thing we ever read about Elihu was that he was angry. There are certainly good things to be angry about. God is angry at sin, for instance, and that's a righteous kind of anger. Being angry at sin and oppression aligns with godliness. But most of the reasons for our anger are selfish, which makes for unrighteous anger. To cherish that kind of anger sounds awful. When we cherish anger, we grow increasingly self-righteous. We don't have a desire to forgive the person we are angry with. We start on a path toward bitterness, and our heart grows hard toward people and toward God. We become cynical and arrogant. While we don't know Elihu's heart, it seems like this could be the trajectory he is on here too, especially given that his argument keeps ramping up. He repeats some of his earlier themes and says things about God, like he delivers the afflicted by their affliction, and he opens their ear by adversity, which is 36 and 15. That's true. God does use adversity and affliction to draw people to him. This trial that Satan meant for evil is one God used to purify Job and glorify himself all the more. Often when life abounds with riches and comfort and ease, it is easy to feel like we don't need God. Only his mercy can open our eyes to the truth that those things don't ultimately satisfy. Dark times can make the light of the truth shine brighter. Even the thief who was crucified beside Jesus had a moment like this in his final hours. And on the other side of those trials, if we have really seen the true value and beauty of an intimate relationship with God, we would surely say those struggles were worth it just to know him better. We would echo the word of Philippians 3 and 8. I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Christ Jesus my Lord. A quote often attributed to Charles Spurgeon puts it this way: I have learned to kiss the wave that strikes me against the Rock of Ages. The phrase Rock of Ages is a reference to God. When all else is movable, God, our rock, has been unmoved throughout all the ages. As Elihu wraps up, he praises God's glory and majesty, but in a way that's intended to crush Job. He uses poetry as a hammer. He closes by saying he does not regard any who are wise in their own conceit, which is 37 and 24. God does draw near to the humble, which means that God is probably drawing near to Job in this, because Elihu has gone on for 6 chapters about how wrong Job is, and Job has not pushed back once. Maybe Job is staying silent out of humility, or maybe he is just too defeated to fight back. Here's the God snapshot. Whether for correction or for his land or for love, he causes it to happen. This is God's providence, his protective care, and his preparation for the future. He has his purposes, and they may remain a mystery to us, but we can trust that he is at work. In his providence, he is attentive to every detail, and he is intentional in working out his plan. Maybe it is a plan to correct the hearts of the wayward. Maybe it is a plan to establish and bless his people. Or maybe it is just an act of love far beyond our understanding. But we can rest knowing he is working in all things for his glory and for our joy. That's all I have for today. We've gone through Job 35 through 37. Once again, in your spare time, go through it, read it, meditate on it, pray about it. So until next time, be blessed.